Sunday night at 10:30.
Good morning. Following a glittering evening reception and a day of achievement and promise at the UN, Mikhail Gorbachev's trip to the United States is being cut short. Soviet officials have announced that Mr. Gorbachev will not be staying in New York or proceeding to Cuba and Great Britain as planned. Instead, the General Secretary will return home to personally oversee relief efforts in the state of Armenia. There, a devastating earthquake has hit the Soviet-Turkish border. Early reports indicate that tens of thousands have been killed by the quake, which the Soviets say registered 8 on the Richter scale. At least 2 major cities in Armenia have been leveled, and as a result, Mikhail Gorbachev's going home today, Thursday, December the 8th, 1988.
From NBC News, this is Today with Bryant Gumbel and Jane Pauley.
And good morning. Welcome to Today on a Thursday morning, a Thursday of terrible tragedy in Armenia. That quake, it seems, struck in the early morning hours. Factories filled with workers, schools filled with children, all collapsed. The news is very bad. We're going to get to John Palmer in just a little bit. He'll bring us up to date on what details we have from the news desk in just a moment. And then following news and weather, we'll take the first of 3 closer looks at Mikhail Gorbachev's historic proposals made at the UN on Wednesday. We'll discuss his prompt departure and his accomplishments here with 2 Soviet experts. And on After 8, we'll talk about the impact of Mr. Gorbachev's troop cut proposals on the NATO alliance. We'll do that with West Germany's defense minister and an American military analyst. Jane?
We'll also talk about the impact on the average Soviet citizen when we talk with a prominent Soviet journalist. He writes for Pravda. In other business this morning, we've got some holiday vacation ideas from different parts of the country. And in our 8:30 half hour, George Wendt of Cheers and Ron Liebman.
Let's start the morning at the news desk. We're welcoming back John Palmer on this morning from brief vacation. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Brian. Jane, as Bryant has mentioned, Soviet officials in New York are making preparations for the departure later this morning of Soviet President Gorbachev for home. Soviet officials say the devastating earthquake, which has taken thousands of lives in Armenia, caused Gorbachev to cut short his visit to the United States by a day and to cancel his planned trips to Cuba and to Great Britain. NBC News correspondent Stan Bernard is at the Soviet mission to the United Nations on East 67th Street here in New York with more on this development. Good morning, Stan.
Good morning, John. It was a very unusual summons that we got late last night to come here to the mission. It was so strange because they said they had a very important announcement to make.
Minutes after midnight, a grim-faced Soviet foreign minister, speaking through an interpreter, apologized for the hour, said an immense earthquake had hit his country, killing thousands. As it turns out, it could be tens of thousands. And that Mikhail Gorbachev was cutting short his trip to the United States and returning home.
Despite the fact that all necessary measures are being taken to overcome the extremely grave consequences of this disaster, Mikhail Gorbachev believes that when a people is suffering, he has to be there and he has to lead the efforts. He has himself to lead the efforts, these very important efforts himself.
Shevardnadze said he was told the quake hit 8 on the Richter scale, which would make it a great earthquake capable of immense damage, and that Mr. Gorbachev thought it would be immoral not to return home at a time of such a great national tragedy.
Foreign Minister Shevardnadze offered apologies for all the canceled events that were due today, and he also thanked New Yorkers and all Americans for the hospitality. Mr. Gorbachev's plane with the entire delegation is due to leave here at about 11 o'clock this morning. John?
Thank you, Stan. That earthquake in Armenia and in eastern Turkey has killed tens of thousands of people. There are no precise figures this morning, but the death and destruction is much greater than first believed. NBC News correspondent Peter Kent has a late report now on the destruction from Moscow.
The massive earthquake knocked out communications across vast areas of Soviet Armenia, greatly complicating rescue operations. Soviet television broadcast these pictures of devastation in Korovakan, the 3rd largest city in Armenia, but the situation closer to the quake's epicenter is believed to be even worse. There are no accurate casualty figures. A police officer in the city of Spitak predicted the numbers would be high because schools were in session and factories operating when the earthquake struck. Western journalists have not yet been allowed access to the region, but Armenian journalists contacted by telephone say the death toll could run to the tens of thousands. Even before President Gorbachev's decision to return home was announced, Communist Party officials in Moscow flew to the Armenian capital of Yerevan to establish an emergency task force. That city was not seriously affected by the quake. Soviet citizens are learning only very slowly of the magnitude of the disaster. Newspapers and early morning TV newscasts led with stories of Gorbachev's New York visit, with the earthquake story second. Peter Kent, NBC News, Moscow.
Soviet officials informed the White House just before midnight last night that President Gorbachev would be cutting short his U.S. stay and returning home this morning. Soviet officials say the reason for the return is solely the earthquake devastation. They dismissed any suggestion that unhappiness on the part of Soviet military leaders with Gorbachev's arms reduction plan had anything whatsoever to do with the decision to return home. Andrea Mitchell is now at the White House with a report. Good morning, Andrea.
Good morning, John. White House officials say they believe that Gorbachev is leaving because of the earthquake, not because of Soviet military opposition to unilateral troop cuts. It is interesting to note that in taking charge of the disaster relief himself, he's responding as a Western leader might to a perceived political need to be seen in an area where there has been significant ethnic unrest. In any case, his early departure does not alter the significance of the stunning military announcements that took the White House by complete surprise. In a speech following the summit talks, the president gave only glancing notice to Gorbachev's announcement.
About the Soviet unilateral troop reduction, I can only say that if it's carried out speedily and in full, history will regard it as important, significant.
George Bush called it a good decision.
No way that can result in balance of forces, but still it's a step, and so applaud it as a positive step.
But the U.S. did not probe for details about the military implications of Gorbachev's move. Instead, this final Reagan-Gorbachev meeting was philosophical, humorous, almost lighthearted.
And we did see history today. An American president and vice president meeting a president of the Soviet Union under the gaze of the Statue of Liberty.
Today, the president will try to regain the public relations offensive against Gorbachev at a news conference here at the White House, probably his last. But privately, Bush and Reagan officials concede it will take a lot more than a news conference to compete with Gorbachev's foreign policy. John?
Thank you, Andrea. NBC News will provide live coverage of the president's news conference at 8 p.m. Eastern Time this evening. Secretary of State Schultz is in Brussels this morning for a meeting of NATO allies, reportedly urging allied leaders to insist on further cutbacks in Soviet troops in Europe beyond the 500,000 figure announced by Soviet President Gorbachev. It's now moving up on 8 minutes after 7. Once again, here's Brian.
All right, John, thanks very much. We'll continue to talk of the Gorbachev proposals in just a moment and his early departure, but first let's get our check of the weather. First thing up on this Thursday morning. Good morning, Mr. Scott.
Hey, good morning, Brian. Good morning to you, everybody. KSDK in beautiful St. Louis. It'll be my pleasure to be there tomorrow morning and help celebrate Christmas in St. Louis. Meet me in St. Louis. And I think ice cream cone was invented there. Happy birthday this morning to Mary Berge of Berryville, Virginia. Beautiful lady at 100 years old today. Happy birthday to you. Bundle up, it is cold. Tomorrow morning in Minneapolis, 5 below zero. This morning, Bismarck, 9. Omaha, 16. Those states will freeze themselves. Casper, 5. Very cold temperatures expected as the first real blast of honest-to-goodness winter air moves in across the northern plains and the upper Mississippi. We thought Albuquerque was going to get a lot of snow in Denver, not much yesterday. Just shows you how we should stop thinking around here. Denver got 4 to 5 inches. Albuquerque didn't get anything. But today that's this, and moving down into New Mexico will bring some heavy snows into that state. And the Sangre de Cristo Mountains, along with the panhandle of Texas, everything you could expect. Snow mixed with sleet and freezing rain, the whole mishmash, and that'll continue into the western part of Missouri. Also look out for some nice weather, as I step back here. A little fog in the valleys of California, but generally fair conditions and mild temperatures on the west coast. The east coast is okay today, but it is going to turn much colder. Here's what's happening in your world this morning.
Look for cloudy skies today with a chance for rain, a high of 47 degrees.
Strong, gusty, blowing winds in the Great Basin, especially down around Nevada today, so be on the lookout for that. 7:09 is the time. And now, here's Brian.
All right, Willard, thank you. On Close Up this morning, Mikhail Gorbachev. As we've noted, the massive earthquake that rocked the Soviet state of Armenia has prompted the General Secretary to cut short his trip and return home. This after a day of high achievement at the UN. William Highland is editor of Foreign Affairs Quarterly. In Miami is Madeleine Albright, professor of Georgetown University's School of Foreign Service. For the second straight morning, we welcome their expertise. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Bill, let me start with you here. Is this an obvious call for Mr. Gorbachev going home?
I think so. You have to take it at face value. It sounds as if it's a considerable catastrophe, but there is always suspicion when a Soviet leader suddenly changes his plans, goes home. The question inevitably arrives, is there trouble at home? And coming at a time when the chief of the Soviet General Staff has just retired for, quote, health reasons, one wonders. And indeed, it points up, I think, the dependence we have on Gorbachev himself.
Professor Albright, do you dismiss any suggestion there's linkage here?
I think there really isn't. I mean, the point is that he is a great political leader in addition to being an international statesman, and he sees that there are very serious problems at home. It would seem somewhat untoward to be looking around fancy stores in New York while tens of thousands of people are dying in Armenia. So I think politically he's done the right thing. Of course, there always is this question that he's got some problems at home, and if he does, then he certainly better be in the Soviet Union rather than walking around Fifth Avenue.
How much does it matter that the quake was not in Georgia, it wasn't in Moscow, but it was in Armenia?
Well, it's a significant irony that it has in fact happened in one of the most troubled regions of the Soviet Union. And when one of the Soviet spokesmen last night was asked on a television program as to what it meant that Gorbachev was going home, he had not understood that it had to do with the earthquake, and he kind of fell into a discussion about the problems in Armenia. So I think clearly those are on the minds of the Soviets at this moment.
On his home front, Bill Highland, how risky is all of this for Mr. Gorbachev? I mean, what he outlined yesterday is, I think we can call it fairly revolutionary. How risky is it? Can he follow through on it? Can he make good?
I think it is risky. He has had the support of the Soviet military and probably the Soviet KGB in his various party struggles. Now he may have alienated a significant part of the military support. Otherwise, the resignation of the chief of the General Staff doesn't seem to make sense, especially at this very time when he's in the United States.
But correct me if I'm wrong, Sergei Akromeyev had been in the forefront of all the reforms up to this point that Mr. Gorbachev had tried to implement, correct? So it would not figure that he'd walk over this, does it?
That's right, and his resignation or retirement does seem strange. It doesn't fit in with the analysis of Soviet military opposition. Nevertheless, I think the whole atmosphere of the Gorbachev 4 years is one of almost constant strife and struggle, resistance to his plans, and I suspect it continues.
What about the proposals themselves, Professor Albright? I mean, we're seeing among NATO allies and from Washington kind of a wait-and-see attitude. Have you any reservations about what you heard?
Well, I think they're fairly significant proposals, but Gorbachev is not a philanthropist, and he's going to want something in return. And I think here is where we have to start looking at what's going to happen during the NATO meetings at the end of this week, and generally the way that the NATO proposals are going to be brought forward. I think the cuts are pretty significant, but they're not what we wanted, and there's a lot of room for maneuver here. And obviously, as Bill said, Akhrameyev's resignation or departure has something to do with this. I think he really was a mediator between the military and Gorbachev, but he was not really for unilateral cuts like this, and this may be one of the significant aspects of what's been going on.
We've been spending a lot of time talking about what was said. Anything that he didn't say that came through loud and clear to you, Bill Howell?
Well, he didn't say he was getting out of Afghanistan by February 15th, which is the commitment that they made last spring, and I think that's significant. That could be a considerable problem. If the Russians stay in Afghanistan, continue the fighting, I think it changes the entire atmosphere of relations, which clearly have improved as a result of this visit.
Do you see it as kind of a direct challenge to see how strong the early stages of Bush administration is willing to be?
Well, it could be the famous test that we always expect for every new president. I think it's probably part of some maneuvering because they are even negotiating with the rebels or the freedom fighters in Afghanistan. So there may be more at stake or more in play than we recognize.
Another note, Professor Albright, with George Shultz in the audience, Mr. Gorbachev publicly scolded the United States for denying Yasser Arafat a visa. Was that a payback for Ronald Reagan making such a public deal of human rights on his visit to Moscow?
Well, I don't know if that's a direct link, but certainly he gained a lot of points with the delegates at the United Nations by taking that jab at Shultz and the American decision, and it clearly was popular with them. And on the other hand, he kind of tried to paper it over by being very complimentary about the secretary.
In final note, in putting forth his vision for the 21st century, Mikhail Gorbachev obviously scored a lot of image points. What are those points really worth?
Well, I think what he really is saying is that we're into a different kind of a century, that we have to be prepared for it. What he said that I found very interesting was that it's no longer possible to run societies as closed societies, that we are interdependent not only economically but technologically and in the realm of ideas, and that we shouldn't be limited by our values, which I found a very interesting phraseology. And he is looking as if he wanted to lead the world, not just the Soviet Union, but the world into a different kind of international cooperation in the 21st century. It was a very forward-looking speech. A lot of it was boilerplate, but a lot of it was interesting.
I'll have to let that be the last word. Professor Albright, for the second straight morning, thank you very much for your insight. And Bill Hyland here. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
7:15. We're back in a moment. This is Today on NBC.
Советский Союз принял решение о сокращении своих вооруженных сил.
I've been away so long, but no matter where I've gone, I'm never away for the holidays. I'm bringing Christmas home.
Bring home sound design radios, just $8.99 at Target, or Thomas old-fashioned radios, $69.98.
Target, bringing Christmas home.
Stop. Waller Buick has two great offers. First, get a $250 gift certificate from Casternauts with each new Buick purchase through December 10th. Second, factory rebates plus Waller's year-end discounts will save you thousands of dollars. A $1,250 rebate on this Regal. Add our discount and save up to $3,400. Save up to $4,000 on a new Park Avenue. Factory rebates, huge year-end discounts, and a $250 Christmas gift certificate from Casternauts. Don't sign anything until you've seen Waller Buick.
Ice on Ice. A magnificent collection of coolly elegant diamond jewelry that will fire your imagination. The Ice on Ice collection. If he wants things to heat up, tell him to try a little ice.
Come by Diamond Brokers Jewelry and see our exciting Ice on Ice collection of diamond jewelry. And remember, for all your jewelry gifts, you'll receive the finest quality for the best price at Diamond Brokers Jewelry, overlooking the mall at Green Hills.
Levy's, we're Santa shops. Foxcroft for Ladies offers an array of blouses and ladies' dressings for the holidays. Foxcroft brings the beauty of the season to that special someone. Foxcroft at Levy's. Enro quality dress shirts exclusively at Levy's. Enro offers great fashion basics for any occasion. And you can only find Enro at Levy's, Santa's store. Ho, 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 ho.
On day 3 of the Gorbachev visit to New York, we invited Gennady Vasilyev, a political columnist for the Soviet government newspaper Pravda, for a reaction to the address at the United Nations, of course not knowing that a natural catastrophe would intrude on the visit. So the earthquake, of course, is foremost on our minds this morning. You've already told me that your sources of information are probably no better than ours on what is happening now in the area. But as we've discussed, there has been political upheaval in this region. Are the events going to remain unrelated, or will the catastrophe, as you have just indicated to me, have, how did you put it, hopefully a positive effect on the political upheaval?
You know, of course, political developments and some natural disasters, they are not related to each other. They happen without any direct notice unexpectedly. But what I thought about, I thought that in the face of sufferings, in the face of sufferings, of disaster, usually people come together. That's my idea. I'm sure that our national problems, which became obvious now with perestroika, will be settled in peaceful manner. But I hope that now with this disaster, when the whole country will come to help those people suffering, maybe it will help to settle peace in that area.
We, of course, have been told that Mr. Gorbachev was going home to personally direct the relief efforts. Mm-hmm. You no doubt heard Mr. Hyland speculating that the suspicions that could there be more to it than that, his sudden reversal and decision to go home. What about it?
Why sudden reversal?
Well, 4 hours before the announcement that he was leaving, we were told that that he would not be going home.
My explanation is like that. 4 hours before, there was no real knowledge of the scope of the disaster. Earthquakes happen from time to time in our country in different areas, but only when it became obvious then that thousands of people probably died. Of course, as the leader of the country, he cannot stay abroad.
Yesterday afternoon, for instance, what was your sense of the scope of the disaster?
The day before, when I first heard about the earthquake in the Caucasus, I thought it was medium-sized, maybe small earthquake. Only late at night at the press conference we had at our mission, I got the knowledge that it's really something very bad, very serious. I'm sure that this is the reason for return of our General Secretary and President, and any world leader will behave like that. It's moral behavior and it's politically sound.
You have just filed your piece for Pravda. Your subject, of course, was the General Secretary's speech at the UN and the meeting with our president, President-elect. What was your lead?
My lead was that the speech really, and this is not an exaggeration, produced great impression on the delegates. I spoke to many of them after the speech. They impressed, first of all, by his vision of the new role of the United Nations in our world, of our new political thinking, and then, of course, they approve our decision to cut our armed forces.
This is
practical step. And I think that both things are interrelated, our philosophy of peaceful world and our practical steps.
I'm going to have to thank you on that note for being with us. This is Today on NBC.
For great personal service and low everyday prices, check the lineup at your neighborhood True Value hardware store, where the 20-inch Master Mechanic Toolbox is the December True Value of the month. It's weatherproof to protect costly tools and it holds up under rugged use. Plus, the lift-out tote tray provides easy access. In December, this Master Mechanic Toolbox is just $8.99, where you see the banner at participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
You can't judge the entertainment book by its cover. You have to go inside, where you'll find the entertainment membership card. Use it at the finest restaurants in town, and two can dine for the price of one. For family dining, the entertainment book has hundreds of half-price coupons, and coupons for sports events, movies, concerts, and shows. Even 50% savings at hundreds of hotels and resorts. Have twice the fun at half the price when you do it by the book, the entertainment book.
Jesse and Roxine Butcher have been making beautiful white oak baskets for many, many years. Only select oak wood is formed and woven into durable baskets. From tree to finished baskets, they produce each one with care and pride. JFG also takes care and pride in producing our special blend tea. Blended from the world's quality tea leaves, JFG tea is always crystal clear with a zesty, clean taste. Try JFG tea for refreshing flavor.
Traditional ideas, innovative ideas. Sometimes both insurance directions are needed to protect you and protect your business. Another insurance message from Polk and Sullivan.
Is this me touching you, or are you touching me?
I don't know where I end and you begin. Hold me.
Eternity.
Calvin
Klein.
Exclusively at Kastner Knott.
Sprint's is one of the largest showrooms in Nashville. 50,000 square feet of furniture and accessories, 30 to 40% discounts every day.
Like no other store you've seen before.
NBC's award-winning coverage of U.S.-Soviet relations continues with Mikhail Gorbachev's historic American visit. We'll bring you the latest on NBC News.
This is the one part of Christmas that turns me into a little kid. I wouldn't miss all the laughter and surprise for anything in the world. Another thing I really enjoy about Christmas is offering H.H. Gregg customers terrific savings on great gift ideas. Like this GE built-in dishwasher with 2-level wash action. Just $217 with no payment or finance charge till March using Gregg's revolving charge program. With only a few weeks to Christmas, it's good to know that H.H. Gregg has everything you need for a Christmas to remember.
Picture yourself in one of these magnificent furs. You could spend a lifetime dreaming about it, or you can make that dream come true. Now at Burlington Coat Factory. Burlington sells magnificent furs like those you see at the finest furriers, but at far lower prices. And there's a great selection of furs on sale. Right now, Burlington has a special sale price of only $17.89 on this magnificent let-out mink coat. The fur you've been dreaming about costs less at Burlington Coat Factory.
From Channel 4, this is a news update brought to you by Service Merchandise.
Good morning, everyone. After some nice weather the past few days, now snow is in the forecast. Let's check the radar. We're scanning 160 miles in all directions. Maybe some light drizzle in the Middle Tennessee area. That's about it right now. 43 degrees at 7:25. Now reporting on traffic, there are 2 accidents, according to Richard Thomas. I-65 north at the I-24 junction and I-65 south at the I-24 junction. Metro Police say they have no suspects in the attempted kidnapping of a Nashville millionaire's wife. Officials said that Andrea Conti, the wife of Phil Bredesen, was attacked and forced into a car as she arrived at work yesterday morning. Witnesses said Conti was able to fight off her attacker and jump out of the car he was driving. Although Conti and her husband have been in the public light, Bredesen said he doesn't think his wife was targeted.
Absolutely no reason to believe that it was in any way directed at me or my family, or even specifically at her as an individual.
Conti was treated at St. Thomas Hospital for cuts and bruises and then released. Correction officials are taking the blame for yesterday's escape of 3 dangerous criminals from the Metro workhouse. The men were with a group of inmates visiting their counselor when they slipped off to an area under renovation and not secure.
While the others were talking to her, a couple of them wandered back out of her office and into this area while an officer was tied up doing something else, and they got back into that area and got to that door that could be forced open. And they forced it open and were out before anybody realized it.
Police officers searched the area and quickly found one escapee. 2 others were able to hide from authorities for a while, but they were captured within 4 hours. Correction officials said they haven't decided whether they'll take disciplinary action against any workhouse employees. We'll have more after this.
You know, when something feels right, you go with it. It's something to believe in. That's how I feel about you.
Well, I feel this way. It's better than it's ever been before. I know it's you.
Nothing makes you feel as good as diamonds. From America's leading jeweler, Service Merchandise.
The sheriff of Van Buren County has fired his jailer for being a little too friendly with prisoners. Sheriff Donnie Evans said the jailer, Charlie Dunlap, played poker with inmates, borrowed money from them, and let them out of their cells to make long-distance phone calls. Evans said he hid once and overheard Dunlap make deals with the inmates. He also alleges that Dunlap let inmates make calls to set up drug sales, and then he went out and picked up marijuana for them. And now for a check of the weather. Currently in Nashville, it's cloudy, 42 degrees, winds from the north at 13, barometer 30.32 and rising, humidity 79%. Now the forecast for today, cloudy, a 40% chance for rain with a high of 47. Then tonight, rain likely changing to light snow after midnight, a 70% chance with a low of 31. Then tomorrow, partly cloudy, 40% chance for light snow in the morning, a high 38 with a low of 20. And right now, no significant accumulation expected. More news at 8:25.
This has been a news update brought to you by Service Merchandise.
Come and get more flavor, Rudy's Farm.
The finest cuts of pork give our sausage more flavor, so come and get it.
Come and get more flavor.
Come and get Rudy's Farm sausage.
Come and get more flavor, Rudy's Farm.
We've got something that's easy and delicious anytime, so come and get it.
Come and get more flavor.
Come and get Rudy's Farm sausage biscuits.
Participating Ace hardware dealers in Tennessee and Kentucky present Ace Best Buys of the Week. Nationally branded products, money-saving prices. 1 gallon can of Bic Stripper is only $8.44. Removes paint, varnish, and stain without methylene chloride. Rayovac workhorse flashlight with Krypton bulb and 2 batteries has an unconditional lifetime warranty, only $4.49. Ace Best Buys of the Week. 1 gallon Bic Stripper and Rayovac workhorse flashlight. These and other Best Buys are participating Ace hardware dealers.
Back at half past the hour on a Thursday morning, December the 8th. Gene Shalit, good morning.
Good morning. How are you all?
Good to see you, sir. We're fine. We're fine. Straight ahead in this half hour, we're going to continue our week-long look at the movie Mississippi Burning. We'll talk with the, I guess I can say controversial director of that film, Alan Parker, about it. Jane?
Not everybody spends Christmas and New Year's holidays at home. Some of you like to take advantage of the kids being out of school or whatnot and take a little vacation this time of year. If so, we have some ideas for holiday travel in just a few minutes.
Somebody traveled a long way to get to my Critics Corner today. The movie is called My Stepmother is an Alien, and she came a long way. Let's talk about that in the Critics Corner.
I don't know if that's a threat or not. Let's get to the news desk. Here's John Palmer.
Thanks, Brian. Good morning. Soviet President Mikhail Gorbachev, cutting short his visit to the United States, returns home today, where he will personally oversee operations to help the victims of a devastating earthquake in Armenia. The quake was centered in the Armenian town of Leninaken and registered, according to Soviet officials, almost 8 on the Richter scale. Early reports say as many as 30,000 people may have lost their lives. Soviet newspapers say the quake is the most powerful in the region in more than 80 years. Gorbachev will tour the stricken area Friday, accompanied by news reporters. Secretary of State George Shultz is meeting with NATO foreign ministers in Brussels this morning. Shultz reportedly is urging the Western allies to pressure Soviet President Gorbachev to cut back even more on the number of Soviet troops in Europe beyond the 500,000 reduction he announced Wednesday at the United Nations. Thomas Pickering, the man George Bush chose to be UN ambassador, is being linked this morning to illegal aid to the Nicaraguan rebels. According to a Washington Post report, Pickering helped arrange a secret donation of $1 million in military equipment at a time when such aid was banned by Congress. Israeli soldiers are on high alert today as Palestinians in the occupied territories mark the first anniversary of their anti-Israeli uprising. During a confrontation on the West Bank this morning, Israeli soldiers shot and killed a 17-year-old boy. Residents of the territories are planning a 2-day general strike to mark the anniversary. In Southern California, strong winds are causing major problems there this morning. Winds were clocked as high as 63 miles an hour. In some areas, the strong Santa Ana wind did considerable damage to homes, especially new ones under construction. At the airport at Ontario, California, a commercial airliner taking off was literally blown sideways by the force of the wind. And near the Los Angeles airport, firemen battled a fierce blaze that began in a paper company and quickly spread to a lumber yard and then to more than a dozen homes in a 5-block area there. Before President Gorbachev decided to cut his U.S. visit short, he took New York City by storm. Thousands lined the streets to get a glimpse of the Soviet leader as his motorcade passed. On 2 occasions, he got out of his limousine and greeted some of those along the route. Gorbachev began his busy schedule Wednesday at the United Nations. Last night, he wrapped up his day at the UN, but this time there were no speeches. Instead, long lines of dignitaries waiting to greet the Soviet president and his wife. It's now about 33 after the hour. Back to Brian.
John Palmer, thanks very much. Willard Scott has a check of the weather in just a moment. Then we've got some holiday travel ideas you might want to consider. That's coming up in a moment, right after this.
So, what do you think? Is she Charlie?
My kind of Charlie.
Charlie? Oh.
Yeah, she's very Charlie.
Uh-huh.
Another day is turned to night.
Close your eyes, say goodnight. Sweet dreams are on their way. All is well as you end the day. Sleep safe, sweet dreams, good night.
Sominex has the one ingredient doctors recommend most to help you fall asleep safely without worry. Sominex.
Good night.
Ah, I'm back.
For you, sir.
Give the Minolta Freedom Dual with 2 built-in lenses for large groups and tiny tims. Freedom cameras put the holiday spirit into anyone.
Season's greetings from Minolta.
Phone calls, deadlines, stomach complaints, my job, and my Lanta 2.
Double strength Mylanta 2. Nearly double the acid-neutralizing power of any leading brand.
Because my life takes my Lanta 2.
There's only one place you'll find the all-cotton Color-Mate bath towel. It's thick, thirsty, and baby soft. Comes in these great colors for only $3.99. And there's more during our wonderful white sale, only at Sears.
Time for us to get a check of the weather. That's
What are you acing me out over here? I see you've got more goodies than ever.
No. We're starting to talk about the 12 days of Christmas. That's just one of the gift
Looks
ideas.
fantastic. I can't wait to get over there and tear into that. Georgetown, Colorado. That's not too far outside of Denver. If you go out there, everything's an hour and a half from Denver, right? Boulder,
true,
hour and a half from Denver. Denver's the hub, the center, with 4.5 inches of snow on the ground. Cute little gingerbread house with little cookie roof. I like that. Anyway, that's this weekend in Georgetown, Colorado. Check it out. We ate the barn, and there was another part of it. We'll tell you about that later. Matilda Zadursky of Point Pleasant, New Jersey. What a beautiful lady. 105 years old today, and she is getting a hearing aid for the first time. That's one of her birthday presents. Lovely, lovely woman. Eva Nelson, Chipley, Florida, and she's celebrating her birthday today. She is 100 years old today. Bill Nelson, good congressman in the state of Florida. Her grandson, she started out life in a buggy with a horse pulling it, and he went to outer space in a rocket. Remember, he's one of the congressmen, went to outer space and came back. Some of the other congressmen are in outer space, but they didn't come back. Hey, take a look. Rain and snow and ice, you name it, from Albuquerque, New Mexico into the Texas-Oklahoma Panhandle, and that translates into rain back into the Tennessee Valley, and some snowflakes falling in the northern Rockies, but nothing serious. Windy in the Great Basin, especially down around Nevada. Otherwise, the East Coast is in good shape. The big story, number one, the Big Kahuna, much colder air moving into the Plain States. The first real touch of Arctic winter will come into the plains in the upper Mississippi Valley beginning tonight. Here's what's happening in your world even as we speak.
Cloudy and cooler today with a chance for rain. Look for a high of 47.
Now here's Jane.
Thank you, Willard. How about doing something a little different for the holidays this year? We've got 3 suggestions for you this morning. The first from Today correspondent Lucky Severson, who says he found an offer he couldn't refuse.
Aloha, my name is Adeline, and I'm here to help your fantasies become reality. Just call me, your fantasy coordinator.
Hi, I'm Lucky Severson. I won't be fulfilling your fantasies, but I will try hard to carry out this difficult assignment and tell you where you can have your reality enhanced and at least some of your Christmas fantasies fulfilled. The Hyatt Regency Waikoloa is a 1,241-room, almost $400 million piece of paradise on the island of Hawaii, a state-of-the-art 1988 reincarnation of Fantasy Island. At the Waikoloa, it's not the plane, it's the boat.
What fantasy do you have in mind?
And Sweet Adeline, promising the moon, the stars, wild boar hunting, jet airplanes, and romantic adventures, as long, of course, as they're legal.
That'll be great because we're on our honeymoon. So.
Larry and Christine Hoskins wanted a helicopter ride that took them over the smoldering Kilauea volcano, and then they were dropped out of the sky for wine and a romantic time at Lahala Point. If we hadn't been invading their fantasy, the price tag would have been $1,300. There are now about 10 Dreamland resorts banking on our increasing need to escape and enhance reality. But by far, the most popular fantasy here costs only $55, and it's a bargain. We seem to be hungering for encounters with species of a gentler kind, and it's entirely unclear whose fantasy is being realized the most, ours or theirs.
What does it feel like?
It's Tupperware.
touch them they felt like silk. Didn't feel like a fish at all.
In the way of fantasies, what's the next thing you want to do? Is this
whales?
Well, the thing about fantasies is that you always want one more. There's always another mountain to climb. That's where Heidi Shulman is, about 3,800 miles northeast of here, and about 12,000 feet higher than we are, in the Rockies. Heidi?
Thanks, Lucky. The perfect winter escape in the Rockies smells of evergreen and comes wrapped in fresh snow. This is Snowmass, Colorado. Come on, let's take a dog sled ride.
Dan McEachin breeds his huskies with big hearts and strong shoulders, and they love to run. The trails from his Krabloonik kennels lead into the Snowmass wilderness. A roller coaster ride through the aspen trees. Then out across the open field. Snuggle back in the sled and feel the cold wind on your face. By the time the lead dog turns toward home, the sun is high on the mountain. As the light fades, blue shadows bathe the mountains, and a sleigh brings us to a cabin in the woods.
Okay, we're here. Oh, jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride on one horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride on one horse open sleigh. Hey!
If you come celebrate the season in the mountains, there'll be family carols around the piano, a fresh-cut tree, and a plate of hot apple streusel, and maybe even an answered prayer for snow. Now to New England and Mike Leonard.
Good morning, Heidi, and please slow down, because here in northeastern Vermont, there's a speed limit on the pace of life.
It's posted at every turn, outside of every small town, family farm, mountain pass, and country inn, especially the Rabbit Hill Inn of Lower Waterford, Vermont. With patience and care, Maureen and John McGee have worked hard to restore all 18 rooms, knowing that the old-fashioned elegance will, in turn, restore each guest.
They can't believe how time passes so much more slowly in this environment.
The Rabbit Hill Inn has a small library, but no TVs or phones in the rooms.
I think they sort of enjoy waking up after the second or third day here and realizing that the phone hasn't rung for them.
A French wine.
Their staff is well trained in everything from the subtleties of wine serving to the flair of gourmet cooking. Breakfast and dinner are included in the price of each room, which varies from $60 to $90 per night per person. There is no cost, however, for taking in the sights of Vermont. The beautiful vistas are open to everyone, and so too, for the most part, are the people.
Well, they're kind of a funny sort, but I'm one of them.
As is Dorothy Morrison. I would note that she lives in the White House with the green shutters, except that every house in Lower Waterford is white with green shutters, all 8 of them.
So you would recommend coming up here?
Oh, absolutely. The only one thing, don't come up here with the idea of making it like what you came from.
Instead, just take a nice long look around. That's what this vacation is all about. From the Rabbit Hill Inn, this is Mike Leonard, sending it slowly back to New York.
For most of us, there's still no place like home. And now for more reality enhancement, here's Willard Scott.
Oh, thank you, Miss Jane. Just sitting here watching that nice piece, drinking my Maxwell House coffee. Always good to the last drop. You try some. I love it. You will, too. It is good.
I need a moment in my day.
Yes, sir. I've got a Tuesday tattoo.
Make myself at ease.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And nothing's like being invisible, and nothing's better for seeing the forest for the trees. And the good to the last drop feeling of Maxwell House, only Maxwell House. That's the good to the last drop feeling of Maxwell House and me.
My lamp! What happened? It was a bird. Maybe my cubs aren't telling me the truth. And trust is not something you can put back together again once it's broken.
Berenstain Bears first-time videos make learning life's lessons a lot more fun.
There's nothing like a bowl of Campbell's soup.
My treat?
To warm things up.
That's what Campbell's soups are. Ooh, good.
Ah, just take a look at this beauty. You know, it smells every bit as good as it looks, too. You know, people keep trying and trying to come up with an imitation of this look and this smell, but there is nothing else like it. Maybe it just has something to do with the real feelings that people have at Christmas time. There's nothing artificial about them either. So don't you settle for an imitation. You look for this banner at a participating real tree merchant. And this year, have a real tree. Merry Christmas.
Director Alan Parker is no stranger to controversy. His direction of films like Midnight Express and Angel Heart have put him at the center of several furors. But his newest, Mississippi Burning, may prove to be his most controversial film yet. The movie is loosely based on the 1964 murders of 3 civil rights workers and the FBI's subsequent investigation. Mr. Parker, good morning.
Good morning.
How much contact did you have with Mississippi before you got involved with this project?
Well, funny enough, when I did Angel Heart, I spent a lot of time in the South and all the southern states looking for locations. So it's the first time, really, that I come into contact with it.
The reason I ask is this is a story that deals with a part of American history. It's centered on racial sensitivities, American racism. Were you at a disadvantage in being English?
There's 2 points of view, really. I mean, one is sometimes if you're outside of a culture, perhaps you can look into that society with a little more clarity. I've been coming here for a long, long time, so in a way I don't feel that I am at a disadvantage, not at all. No.
But you lived in, correct me if I'm wrong, you lived in England during the time.
At that time,
when this movie is based on. How did it affect you at the time?
Well, I was, quite politically aware, so in a way I knew all about it. I obviously didn't know enough about it, not as much as I learned after having done all my research on this film. But we were certainly aware of what was going on, and we cared about what was going on.
You make a point of noting that the film is a fictionalized story of 60s civil rights struggle. But because a great deal from facts, but it gleans a great deal from the facts and the surrounding controversy of a real case, how much responsibility did you feel to the truth of the Cheney, Schwerner, Goodman case?
Well, I mean, I have to say that it's a movie, many people talk about whether it should have been a documentary, but I have to reach a wide audience. And therefore, that's the reason for that accessibility. That's the reason for mixing fact and fiction. Journalists have a problem with that because they're trained differently. But I think that the truth behind something, the heart behind something, the spirit behind something is how you should judge this film, and I'm very proud of it. And I was very responsible. And if I can, with this message of whatever the film is trying to say, reach a large audience, only then will I be truthful to Schwerner, Goodman, and Cheney.
Let me play devil's advocate with you a second on that point. What do you say to the argument that, hey, wait a minute, you're trying to have it both ways? On the one hand, you're trying to capitalize on the movement by giving the film a high moral purpose, an intellectual light almost, so to speak, but on the other hand saying, hey, we've got to sell tickets and excusing the Hollywood sensitivities on that basis.
Sure.
You trying to have it both ways?
There's 2 ways of doing it. I mean, you can present the Olympic Games without any TV commercials, perhaps, and that might be a much better viewing experience. You can't do that within this system. What one tries to do is to actually reach a large audience because you have something to say. What does large audience mean? It means a lot of people go. What does that mean? Box office. That means bucks. It's how you look at it. All I know is that I know it deep down inside of me why I did it and the effect that the film has on the audiences.
Is that an admission of sorts the film did sell out at the backhand?
Not at all. I don't think, not in the slightest. No, I'm very proud of the film. I think that not for one moment was the integrity of the film impaired, not the slightest. No.
Let's take a look at your stars at work. In this case, Gene Hackman and Willem Dafoe as agents Anderson and Ward.
Mr. Anderson, stop! Mr. Anderson! What the hell? I'm telling you to stop, and I mean it. We're not killers. That's the difference between them and us.
That's the difference between them and you.
You're not any more like them than I am.
Wrong. What do you care what I do with some hiding behind a sheriff's badge? Don't you have the whole world to change?
That's right, and I'm changing.
Oh, you're just as arrogant as you are stupid.
You're changing it too.
Well, I damn well gonna make some changes right now.
Don't be so stupid. Don't go messing this up just because you're partial to fooling around with witnesses.
You. Oh. It don't mean I have a gun unless you're ready to use it.
I'll kill you right now if you don't listen to what I have to tell you. Let me go. Let me go. We'll go after all of them. Together.
You wouldn't know how.
You're gonna teach me how.
You don't have the guts.
Not only do I have the guts, I have the...
When racism is still so prevalent in America today, why go back to the 60s for a fictionalized version of racist poison?
It's a good question. I mean, it's... I hope, in a way, that when people look at the film, they don't think of it as it's just a bunch of, bigoted rednecks that were doing something in 1964 in Mississippi. Racism is all over the United States and very prevalent now in many other countries, including my own. But I think, in a way, sometimes you need some distance from a subject in order for the audience to actually find it palatable. I don't know why that is, but it just seems to be so.
How controversial do you think the film is going to prove to be?
Well, I don't seek the controversy. I just actually, make a film as strongly as I can, and I believe in it. And people will respond to it one way or the other. It's for them to say, not me.
Alan Parker, thank you. The film again is Mississippi Burning.
Thank you very much indeed.
We're going to come back in just a moment. There's more ahead on Today right after this.
So we save with me, sir. Bye.
Saturday, a trigger-happy cop. I don't buy it. Puts Hunter on the wrong side of the law.
There's a warrant out for your arrest.
You want a part of me? Come on. An all-new Hunter, Saturday.
Center your attention on the mall at Green Hills. Every once in a while, a truly outstanding fashion talent turns the heads of millions. That talent is Tarazia Design Group. Always the right choice at Brooks Fashions. Welcome to the lingerie store, where you'll find friendly personal service and the largest selection of fine lingerie in Nashville. The mall at Green Hills. Let it be your center of attention.
I'm Dan McDaniel, and I'm for the family.
Good morning and welcome to the Critics' Corner. My Stepmother's an Alien is a confluence of Dan Aykroyd, Kim Basinger, director Richard Benjamin, and 4 men who have confessed to writing it. Aykroyd, a scientist trying to beam a super signal to outer space's outer reaches, overreaches, and connects with a far-out civilization which dispatches one of its far-out beauties to Earth to see what is going on. She is Kim Basinger, and she arrives wearing an opaque outfit. Since she is Kim Basinger, we assume she will soon slip into something, as they say, more comfortable. And bingo, she is in something more comfortable, a form-fitting and translucent outfit, and she merrily jiggles through the rest of the movie, making the plot irrelevant. Kim arrives carrying a purse containing a talking snake whose one eye is inside its mouth. This Cyclopsian serpent is her spacey mentor and guide on Earth. Kim and Dan are soon in each other's arms, have shed their clothes, and almost immediately head for the altar. By the way, Dan does not know she is an alien, but his 13-year-old daughter, Allison Hannigan, becomes suspicious when she observes Kim eating flashlight D-cells and drinking automobile battery juice. There is a single clever scene, very funny, in which Kim Basinger learns how to kiss, but the rest of the movie may make you wish you had stayed home to play Pictionary. Just for the record, parents of children under 12 should be aware of one highly suggestive, though not explicit, sex scene, and wives are cautioned that their husbands may be cranky when they get home. My Stepmother is an Alien has grabbed ideas, jokes, notions, and characters out of everything from Mork and Mindy to Alf, from Close Encounters to The Man Who Came to Dinner to Back to the Future, with lame jokes about Shirley MacLaine, Carl Sagan, and Stephen King. The high school college freshman crowd may get a kick out of seeing Saturday Night Live's John Lovitz playing a character who is prominent in the Close Encounters-inspired ending. My Stepmother is an Alien is so derivative that its closing credits should include footnotes and a bibliography of the sources of this alien corn. That's the Critics' Corner. We'll be back after this.
Tony, what are you eating now? Fruitful brand.
Yeah, it's peaches and raisins.
Hey, Tony, that looks good.
It is. It's fruitful bran. It's apples and dates.
You just said it was peaches and raisins.
Well, it was.
Don't lie to your father.
Well, now it's raisins, apples, and dates.
Didn't you just hear your mother?
Hey, it is apples and dates.
Give me the box, Rosa. I'll decide.
Only Fruitful Bran has so many fruits, you get a different fruitful combination in every bite.
It's peaches, raisins, and dates.
So it changed.
Kellogg's Fruitful Bran. It's never the same bite twice.
Crowley's been foreman here since I was a girl. He loves oranges. And only one orange juice, Tropicana Pure Premium Homestyle. It's pure juice with no water added or taken away. But what makes it special is sweet, juicy bits of orange. Crowley says it has the taste and feel of fresh squeezed. Your choice, Pure Premium Homestyle with juicy bits of orange or Tropicana Pure Premium. You just can't pick a better juice.
You tell him, Mary.
For all of life's celebrations, in all of love's languages, only a diamond says forever.
Hello, darling. My gift philosophy is nothing but the best. In slippers, nothing but wonderful deer foams. They come with ultra cushy foam that makes luxurious love to your feet. And as darlings, the deer foam are giving away these wonderful free sachets. With every pair of the Royal Collection. Remember, give nothing but the best. Deer foams, darling.
Ah, yes, December 8th. The time has come for us to begin our annual holiday countdown. 12 days of Christmas, if you will. 12 days of gift-giving ideas, some of them more practical than others, can I say. This morning on the first day of Christmas, we decided to stick to something pretty basic, and that's food. Tom Dijor is known as Mr. Gift. Is this true? At Macy's department store in New York, and he's obviously got a bunch of gift baskets. How are you, Mr. Gift?
Very well.
Yeah?
What we've got here today is a selection of gift baskets from the marketplace at Macy's, where you can pick up a gift from $20 to $1,500.
When did gift baskets start becoming popular?
Popular about 5 years ago, and we picked up on the trend right away, and we've carried it through with a lot of custom baskets. That's the great munch. That's what you eat when you're sitting to give to someone to watch television with. There's gumballs, there's candy corn, there's hard candy, some English toffees.
All nosh stuff.
All nosh stuff.
Munchies.
And then it has a great basket. It's a market shopping basket that you could use around the kitchen or in the garage or something.
$100.
$100.
Ooh, it's a lot of work around the garage and kitchen. Okay.
The Italian basket is great for someone who likes to cook. We have imported olive oil, balsamic vinegar, tomato paste in a tube.
Tomato paste in a tube.
So
You're saying this is concentrated stuff and you only need to use a tablespoon.
Well, it's like you get in a can, except you squeeze out exactly what you need.
So it's
and
not
the
like
rest...
just going to the supermarket and filling it up with...
No.
Also, balsamic vinegar is non-fattening. I mean, you can go ahead and have yourself a blast.
Everything
with that.
is non-fattening during the holiday season. And if you eat it standing up, it's dietetic.
Only. Let's move on. What do we got here?
That is a breakfast in bed tray. That's a perfect little wicker basket to serve breakfast in bed. 2 jams, coffee mugs, cellar blend coffee, and crackers.
Not to tell people that they shouldn't go shopping at your department store and buy this stuff, but the basket idea is something you could do with your own imagination.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. Yeah. But you could buy the components.
We have only 30 seconds left. I don't want to pass on
This is a custom one. This is a custom basket that a customer could call into our Macy by appointment and order a custom basket filled with all fresh foods. We have salmon, 3 types of caviar,
This
apples.
is the customer who says, money is no object.
Right.
Because the caviar runs... How expensive is caviar
It's like
these
the
days?
gold standard. Every day it's a different price.
Well, the gold standard
It's a
just went
couple of
down
hundred
here.
For yes, please.
But so you'll put in a little crystal here.
Waterford crystal, yes.
Not a bad idea. Think of food, in other words, as you're going Christmas. Very easy thing to do. We're going to come back.
Caviar was crunchy.
Oh, it's wonderful. We're going to come back in just a moment. There's much more ahead for Thursday morning, right after station break.
It was a time when the world was falling apart and a time when families pulled together. Hal Holbrook, Eva Marie Saint, and Family Ties Courtney Cox in I'll Be Home for Christmas, Monday.
The Kastner Knot Christmas Gift Guide, full of fabulous holiday gift ideas.
Sales and values on many items by quality makers like Toll. Oneida reflects your good taste. Perfect compliments for any table setting. Crystal for home or office. Helping hints for the holidays. Stoneware sets from International China on sale. Revere ware always hot in demand. Beautiful bedding by Bill Blass and Laura Ashley. Turn to Kastner Knott for great gift ideas.
Stop. Waller Buick has two great offers. First, get a $250 gift certificate from Casternauts with each new Buick purchase through December 10th. Second, factory rebates plus Waller's year-end discounts will save you thousands of dollars. A $1,250 rebate on this Regal. Add our discount and save up to $3,400. Save up to $4,000 on a new Park Avenue. Factory rebates, huge year-end discounts, and a $250 Christmas gift certificate from Casternauts. Don't sign anything until you've seen Waller Buick.
Amazing Blue Star ointment stops itching fast. Jock itch, ringworm, psoriasis, tetter, and removes corns and calluses. Blue Star ointment, the one that's guaranteed. Ask for it.
Happy holidays from Channel 4, your family station.
Back now at 8 o'clock on a Thursday morning, 8th morning of December of '88. Straight ahead in this hour, Mikhail Gorbachev's historic speech before the UN General Assembly will take up that matter. It was a speech in which the General Secretary announced his intentions to reduce troop strength by 500,000 men over the next 2 years. We'll get two perspectives on that move. We talked to the West German defense minister and an American military analyst on After 8. And we'll hear from George Wendt. He's, of course, the beer-guzzling CPA on NBC's Cheers. He admits he's had a good thing going for the past 7 seasons. Now he's starting to look ahead just a little bit. We're back inside Studio 3B on a Thursday morning, along with Jane Pauley. I'm Bryant Gumbel. Our top news story concerns the visit of Mikhail Gorbachev. He's going to cut it short. He's leaving New York today in order to return home as a result of an earthquake in Armenia. John Palmer's going to give us an update on all that in just a moment.
And then Betty Furness has a report on a new law designed to protect you from unsafe art materials. A little later in the hour, Broadway favorite Ron Liebman and a California priest whose controversial teachings have led the Vatican to silence him for a year.
It's 8:01. Let's get to the news desk. Once again, here's John Palmer.
Brian, Jane, thank you. Good morning. First, the devastation and destruction in the Soviet Republic of Armenia, where a powerful earthquake is believed now to have killed tens of thousands of people, destroyed entire towns, and trapped many underneath the rubble. The disaster is forcing Soviet President Mikhail Gorbachev to cut short his stay in the United States. More from NBC News correspondent Peter Kent.
The earthquake affected vast areas of the Soviet republics of Armenia and Azerbaijan, which have been swept by ethnic unrest and violence since February. Even before the devastating tremors flattened entire communities early yesterday, there were 200,000 refugees here, people who had fled persecution on both sides of the rival republic's common border. In the hours immediately prior to the earthquake, the local radio service, Radio Yerevan, had reported resistance to Moscow's efforts to forcibly end the unrest. But the situation was volatile. Now, with reports of possibly tens of thousands dead or injured, the earthquake provides Mikhail Gorbachev with a unique, if tragic, opportunity. By returning to personally supervise the massive emergency task force, which is being set up to deal with the disaster, the Soviet leader may also be able to regain the confidence of the population, those at least who have survived the earthquake. Peter Kent, NBC News, Moscow.
Gorbachev leaves around noon New York time for home to oversee the rescue efforts in the Republic of Armenia. Stan Bernard is at the Soviet mission here in New York City with the latest on Gorbachev's travel plans. Stan?
There's been an increase of activity here, John. Just within the last 15 or 20 minutes, an advance party of cars just moved out of here, including one of the big Soviet Zils. There are more security moving in. There is more security here. The trucks are coming in to pick up the luggage about now. The latest we have is that Gorbachev himself should be leaving here at about 11:15, making it to the airport at about noon.
Stan, will President Gorbachev fly directly to the site of the earthquake devastation in Armenia?
Foreign Minister Shevardnadze said no. It appears they will go to Moscow. Some of the people will get off, some of the delegation will get off in Moscow, and then others will continue right on to Yerevan.
Thank you, Stan Bernard, reporting there live from the Soviet mission. The White House, meantime, is taking at face value the reason for Gorbachev's hasty departure, and they continue to monitor the earthquake situation in Armenia. Andrea Mitchell is at the White House with a late report. Andrea?
Good morning again, John. Well, White House officials say that U.S. intelligence supports Gorbachev's stated reason for going back, that the earthquake is what one official here called a catastrophe of world-class proportions. Officials here say that politically it also would have been impossible for Gorbachev to stay and be touring New York City, the capitalist sites of New York, while whole villages were disappearing in Armenia. We're told that during the luncheon meeting at the summit, that President Reagan offered Gorbachev any help that might be necessary, any disaster relief, although none would be expected to be needed by the Soviets, and that offer was repeated by the National Security Advisor very late last night when he was notified of the early departure by the Soviet ambassador to the United States.
Andrea, is there any reading there at the White House this morning on any unrest on the part of Soviet military leaders as to the plan put forth at the UN by President Gorbachev?
There's a lot of study of that, a lot of confusion and analysis underway, particularly because of the sudden retirement, the announcement that the Soviet Defense Chief Marshal Akhmayev is retiring. Now, I'm told that during the luncheon, Soviet officials went out of their way to emphasize to American officials that it was for the stated reason of health problems. But people here find that very curious indeed. Those who hosted Akhmayev on his extraordinary visit to Washington and who had negotiated arms reductions with him say that he was one of the early supporters of Gorbachev's internal reforms. What they suspect is that he may have wanted to move into the defensive military posture through negotiated reductions with NATO, not through unilateral troop cuts. John?
Thank you, Andrea. NATO ministers meeting in Brussels this morning are reacting favorably to Gorbachev's announcement of a sharp cut in Soviet military forces. The troop withdrawal is being hailed as an extraordinary and meaningful move. While reaction to the Gorbachev United Nations speech is coming from the major world capitals, NBC News correspondent Roger O'Neill traveled to a Colorado mountain town to see if the Gorbachev speech played in Evergreen.
The Christmas sweater wasn't done yet, but Gene Westland, who likes to keep up with world events, thinks Soviet President Gorbachev's speech to the United Nations was also a challenge to President-elect George Bush.
I thought it was really an incredible speech for a Russian leader. I think, however, there's a lot in there that Mr. Bush is going to have to think about.
Gas station mechanic Pat Deramiti was too busy to watch the speech, but he has been following Gorbachev's visit and his proposals to ease world tension.
They're taking the initiative, which seems more than what we're doing.
Bank President Jerry Hearst says he is beginning to trust the Soviet leader. Hearst thinks the world is a safer place now.
Certainly there's an element of distrust, but again, there is that element of sincerity because he has gone ahead and accomplished what he said he was going to accomplish.
Interestingly, these three people in this small town had no interest in what else the Soviet president was going to do while in New York or in what his wife was up to. Roger O'Neill, NBC News, Evergreen, Colorado.
In other news this morning, Israeli soldiers shot and killed a 17-year-old Palestinian today during a demonstration in the occupied West Bank. A year after the uprising began, the bullets and the rhetoric still flying. More from correspondent Fred Briggs in Tel Aviv.
Palestinians began a two-day general strike this morning to observe the first anniversary of their uprising in the occupied territories of Israel. They did so with little hope that the PLO's Yasser Arafat statement that seemed to accept Israel as a legitimate state made any impression on Israel's leaders.
And it's not important what Arafat says in his efforts for public relations in Europe and elsewhere.
The response from Labor's Shimon Peres was not much different.
What we really need is an end to the violence and terror, not only as a postulation in theory, but as a commitment in reality.
The PLO does not consider the uprising as terror, and it said the uprising will continue until there is a Palestinian state, however long that takes. Further complicating this is today, 1 month after general elections, Shamir has yet to put together a new government. And until he does, any new thinking about the Palestinians is unlikely. Fred Briggs, NBC News, Tel Aviv.
And in this country, winning a multi-million-dollar lottery may be more trouble than it's worth. Richard Vandebo of Des Moines, Iowa, bought that winning ticket in the $14 million Lotto America drawing and gave that ticket to his girlfriend as a Christmas present. Now his troubles are beginning. First, his estranged wife wants half the winnings and may sue to get it. Then the IRS says it is investigating the possibility Vandebo owes a gift tax for giving the winning ticket to his girlfriend. One estimate puts the tax payment at $6,900,000. A lot of money there. 9 minutes after the hour. Back to Brian.
All right, John.
W.C. Fields was right. Never give a sucker an even break.
That's right. Why does she get half?
I don't understand. Why does the IRS get a gift tax? Who is Sylvia? Tune in tomorrow on CBS as the world turns. I mean, I've never seen so many cockamamie tax laws. Once in a while, you want to revolt. Do you ever get mad? Do you ever sit there and say...
Do I ever get mad? Mean, Ned?
No, I know. You're even-tempered. Mean all the time. Rotten to the core. But the truth is, don't you ever once in a while just sit there and and say, why did they do that?
You weren't here Monday. You missed it. I was ranting and raving and everything.
Was he good? Was he hot?
Oh, he was
up on the roof again, doing those strange things with the monkey. Woo!
I'm waiting for you to talk about the cookies so I can slide one on monitor.
It's Christmas time, and that's nice. We calm down. Thank the good Lord for Christmas time, because at least it does get us back in the mood again. These delicious cookies are from Jackson, Mississippi. Jackson State. I had the nicest time, Jackson State College down there. These are not from Jackson State College. Smith Robertson Museum and Cultural Center in Jackson's having open house this Sunday, and they'll have cookies like
One
this.
of our best affiliates is in Jackson.
You bet. That's when I did with Jackson State, and I loved it. Let's check them out here and see what's happening. Birthday wish this morning. Max Spedall of Howard Beach, New York, is 100 years old today. We wish him a very happy birthday. And we have Henning Nelson of Westbrook, Minnesota, 100 years old. He came over to this country. He was 12 years old from Sweden, sure he did. Now, every day, the only thing he worries about is enough rain for his garden. How about that at 100? If that's your troubles, hallelujah. Isn't that nice? Yes. Check them out. Texas. Atlanta, Texas, having some great weather today. They love rain in Texas. However, you get up there in the Panhandle, which is what I do for a living when I leave here so I can make ends meet. You get up there in the Panhandle of Texas, see all that funny little stuff on there. What does that mean on there? Someday we got to sit there and talk about those little dots and dashes on the radar. Actually, that shows you the heavier concentration of thunderstorms. However, in Hawaii, 87 beautiful degrees. That's the easiest job. In fact, you know in Hawaii, they don't even do weather. It's the same, maybe 2 to 3 degrees difference every day of the year. 87, maybe a morning shower, and then it clears up. It's beautiful. Do look out here, though. Texas, Oklahoma Panhandle, heavy snows, rain, sleet, the whole 9 yards. Albuquerque getting some heavy snow again today. We said they were yesterday, and they didn't. Denver got 4 or 5 inches. They'll just get a smattering today, but the ski people back in the mountains to the west of Denver got up to 18 inches of snow. This is the big story tonight. Bitter cold, coldest of the year so far, moving into the upper Mississippi and the northern plains. Charleston, South Carolina, Captain Butler's hometown, 75. Thank you, ma'am. 8:11, and here's what's happening in your world even as we speak.
Look for cloudy skies today with a chance for rain, a high of 47 degrees.
Hey, that's it. That's all for right now. Brian Gumbel standing. He may get mad this half hour.
No, not at all. Thanks, brother. Next on After 8, we'll check out the military effects of the Gorbachev proposals after a break. This is Today on NBC.
Levy's. We're Santa shops. Here are a few of Santa's selections. For the ladies, a holiday wardrobe for work or play. For the gentlemen, dress him up for the holidays with the most of the best in menswear at Levy's. Or welcome the new year with great looks in casual wear and sportswear. All of this and more from Levy's, Santa's store. Ho, 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 ho.
What's the difference between a fresh biscuit and Hardee's biscuit made fresh from scratch? This should give you some idea.
All clear.
Right.
Hardee's Rise and Shine biscuits, made fresh from scratch because we're out to win you over.
They're testing a pretty hot piece of equipment here, Bryant's new thinking gas furnace. It's got an electronic brain that constantly adjusts its own performance, making it the quietest, most efficient Bryant ever. You can be sure it'll keep your home comfortable for a long, long time.
Call your participating dealer today for more information about Bryant's $200 cashback rebate. In Nashville, call Lynn Smith Heating and Air Conditioning Contractors, or in Mount Juliet, call Hermitage Heating and Air Conditioning for all your heating and cooling needs.
189 jets of pulsating water. The 3-speed home spa Euro system from Regina. Now only $119.97 at Service Merchandise. No one offers more value at any price. The low light sensitivity of CCD imaging. The full-size, full-featured VHS camcorder from Magnavox, now just $1089.97 at Service Merchandise. No one offers more value at any price.
On After 8 this morning, the Gorbachev troop cuts. The General Secretary's stated intention to reduce his troop strength by 500,000 men over the next 2 years has all concerned studying the full impact of that move. One of those most concerned, West German Defense Minister Rupert Scholz, who's in Williamsburg, Virginia this morning. Mr. Minister, good morning.
Good morning.
May I assume you take it as good news?
Really, it is good news because the announcement of Mr. Gorbachev is the right step, a good direction.
Are you
we welcome it.
Are you confident that he'll make good on those cuts, that he'll even be able to make good on those cuts?
I think he is strong enough to realize that, what he announced.
His is a unilateral move. There any chance it might be met by a similar gesture on the part of Western forces?
I think the most important thing is that the huge superiority of the Warsaw Pact in Europe is not changed by these reductions. For example, if he will reduce 6 divisions, the relation is 48 to 60 divisions in the area in the east against about 25 divisions on the western side. And so you can see it's a first step, but it's not enough for real conventional stability in Europe.
For a second perspective, let me go to Washington right here, and a good morning there to Jeffrey Record of the Hudson Institute. Mr. Record, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Pentagon is calling this marginally significant. In your view, how significant are these cuts?
I think it's much more than marginally significant. These aren't just any 6 divisions. These are high-quality, first-line, forward-deployed divisions that are coming out. They form part of the core of those divisions that have been most threatening to NATO. He's taking out, he says, 5,000 tanks, which is basically about 40 to 45% of all of his frontline armor forward deployed in Eastern Europe.
Will they affect the ability of the Warsaw Pact to act as the aggressor in any war in the area?
If, in fact, Mr. Gorbachev can deliver on these reductions, this, I think, significantly reduces the striking power of the Warsaw Pact forces and reduces the ability of the Soviet army in Eastern Europe to conduct a surprise attack.
They still enjoy a numerical advantage, as Minister Scholz has pointed out. Has this cut into their technological advantage?
I don't know that it cuts into their technological advantage. Even after the reductions, the force balance will be approximately 2 to 1 in the Warsaw Pact's favor, going down from 3 to 1. But it is a very significant reduction.
Let me go to Minister Scholz for a final word. At what point, Minister Scholz, are you willing to take Mr. Gorbachev's peaceful intentions at their face value? He has signed an INF treaty. He has cut his troops. What more would you have him do?
The most important thing, what we have to reach, is a conventional stability, a real conventional stability in Europe now. And so I hope we can start very soon the conventional stability talks at Vienna. And then we will see what we can realize in the whole situation. And if I say whole situation, that's the important point. The first step we have now announced, we welcome it, but then we have to see what we can do in the future together.
Rupert Scholz, Jeffrey Record, thank you both. Coming up on 8:18, we're going to come back and after a break. This is Today on NBC.
Walgreens has been helping bring holiday magic to American families for over 4 generations. Isn't it nice having an easy-to-shop Walgreens drugstore nearby?
Don't forget to get your Energizers at Walgreens. The AA 6-pack, buy 4, get 2 free. The 9-volt 2-pack, buy 1, get 1 free. Now at Walgreens.
In all of Europe, on all occasions, Mon Cherie has become the most popular, most treasured brand of fine milk chocolate.
Center your attention on the mall at Green Hills. T. Edwards, the contemporary woman's first choice. Today, tomorrow, and always.
Discover a more beautiful you at Nuhat Kuri. European skincare and body treatments, total makeovers, and an elegant collection of designer accessories at Nuhat Kuri.
The mall at Green Hills. Let it be your center of attention.
10-4. Boss, we just got a big holiday order.
Well, let's go, Elmo. Time's a wasting.
Boss, what did I do wrong?
Elmo, it takes a real turkey to mess up a Harper's Country ham. Here's the way it should look.
Boss, how'd you do that?
I ain't got time to tell you. Just read my recipes.
Harper's Country ham.
Jingle ham, jingle all the way.
With the new Spirit at your Dodge dealer, you won't have a hard time finding the right pickup. See our Ram Tough full-size pickups, powerful dual rear wheels, and available 5.9-liter Cummins diesel, and prices starting as low as $86.23. After all, why should you get the blues when all you really want is a great deal?
The tough new Spirit of Dodge.
See your Middle Tennessee Dodge dealers where the new Spirit shows.
In 1983, Betty Furness exposed the fact that chronic health problems can be caused by ingredients in some art materials. And Betty has an update on that report. Betty, good morning.
Good morning, Jane. Not only artists are threatened by hazardous art materials, children who use the materials in classrooms or at home are particularly vulnerable. 5 years after our report, a new law has been passed. In 1983, we interviewed the husband of a woman who made ceramic figures. There were asbestos fibers in the material she used, and when she scraped the figures, she inhaled the dust.
It was found that she had a tumor. The tumor turned out to be a mesothelioma of a malignant nature, and her symptoms got worse. Gradually, her condition deteriorated, and she died a little more than 2 years after the growth was discovered.
Asbestos was banned in these materials, but we were told that a lot of art supplies, including those used by school children, contain other health-threatening properties, such as lead, cadmium, cobalt, benzene, toluene, and vinyl chloride. Parents and educators were worried. What kinds of problems could come from these things?
Things like allergies, things like hyperactivity, long-term things such as cancer.
Educators responsible for buying art material didn't always know what was dangerous.
Someone has to help us because we are not chemists as to what materials really are hazardous and how we can utilize them.
The Center for Occupational Hazards, now the Center for Safety in the Arts, pushed for mandatory labeling of dangerous chemicals. But manufacturers said that their voluntary program of labeling and their seal of approval protected consumers sufficiently.
We think that in an industry where 99+% of the crayons that you can buy on the market are certified to be non-toxic, as well as chalks, clays, and many other products, that we don't have a problem and that enforcement will not be any more effective.
Nevertheless, Congress has just directed the Consumer Product Safety Commission to make labeling and specific health warnings mandatory for products that pose a chronic health threat. They will also have to be marked not for use by children, and elementary schools can be prohibited from buying them. 5 years later, the same Manufacturers' Trade Association that opposed legislation says they now support it.
After the voluntary standard was passed, there was no need for additional legislation. However, 6 states on their own passed legislation, but each state passed it slightly different. This way, we'll be able to now produce products which will be labeled properly and which people can buy without having any problems.
5 years later, how does the Center for Safety in the Arts feel about this victory?
Before, it was up to the company whether it wanted to list the warning or not, and I think in areas of health it should be mandatory. Like we just had a case of a teacher that had brain damage from silkscreen printing with solvent-based inks. None of these inks are labeled. Here we have examples of rubber cement, 2 rubber cement thinners, both with the same chemical in, one of which has the nerve damage warning on and one which doesn't. The question comes up, of course, now is making sure that the standards that the Consumer Product Safety Commission has to develop as to what is a long-term hazard, chronic hazard, to make sure that that gets instituted properly, and then that gets on the label.
For more information about which materials are hazardous and which safe products can be substituted for them, you can write to the Center for Safety in the Arts, Suite 1038, 5 Beekman Street, New York, New York, 10038.
You can't assume if it's out there, it's safe.
Not yet.
Station break.
My friends like the showers better than the pool since I installed Polynex massaging showers. Each has 4 different shower heads. I save up to $190 on water and energy. Powerful jet massage, pulsating wide massage, tingling fine spray, brisk cause spray. The only thing I don't like about my Polynex massaging shower head, I can't get the girls out of the shower. Girls, nothing.
Available at Service Merchandise, Ace Hardware, and Walgreens.
Anticipate the excitement of Christmas at Vandywood Fashion Square. Surprise the mother-to-be with fashions from Dan Howard's Maternity Factory. Save 25 to 50% every day on first-quality maternity wear at factory direct prices from Dan Howard Maternity. Holiday gift givings in the bag. Earrings, necklaces, rings, hair accessories, belts, scarves, and handbags from Myers, Susan Gale, and Gucci. Delight her with a gift from in the bag. Make all their wishes come true at Vandywood Fashion Square, Green Hills.
From Channel 4, this is a news update brought to you by Furniture World.
Good morning, everyone. Looks like the nice weather is gone. Snow is in our forecast. Let's check the radar. We're scanning 160 miles in all directions. Still some very light rain scattered around Middle Tennessee this morning. 43 degrees at 8:25. Metro Police are looking for a suspect and a motive in the attempted kidnapping of a Nashville businesswoman. Officials said Andrea Conti, wife of Phil Bredesen, was attacked as she arrived for work yesterday morning. She was forced into her kidnapper's car, but she managed to fight him off and escape. Conti was treated at St. Thomas Hospital for cuts and bruises and then released. A health insurance plan that covered employees of building contractors in Tennessee has folded. Now many families are left with thousands of dollars in unpaid doctor and hospital bills. Alan Muse reports.
It's always taken 3 to 4 months to get any type of claim paid.
Kip Sims is talking about his experience with the Tennessee Home Builders Health Benefits Trust. Kip is a plumber. He and his wife have found that the trust won't pay over $1,000 worth of their hospital and doctor bills.
When they first initially knew that they were having problems, it would have been real nice if they would have let somebody know.
The Home Builders Health Benefits Trust is called a self-insured plan. It is not through an insurance company. Federal law allows companies and trade associations to set up their own nonprofit plans to save their subscribers money.
What started off as a real service to members ended up not being sufficient enough dollar-wise to pay off the claims.
Tom White's law firm is picking up the pieces of the Home Builders Health Trust. He hopes the doctors and hospitals will be paid a percentage of what they're owed in January. But the plan is finished.
Is that the premiums that came in were just not sufficient to pay the medical claims that were incurred by people that were insured under the trust.
2 other not-for-profit self-insured plans are also effectively finished. One, operated by the Associated General Contractors, is in bankruptcy court. The other, run by the Tennessee Building Materials Association, shut down because it was losing money. None of the plans are regulated by the state insurance department because they were set up under federal law. The attorney handling this case says rising medical costs are causing the squeeze, but he says self-insured plans have a dim future.
I think the jury's back. I think that everybody's concurred that self-funded trusts are an idea whose time has come and gone, and they may well have worked were it not for the staggering increase in medical costs in the country.
Alan Muse, Channel 4 News.
We'll check the weather after this.
Snowbird John of Furniture World. John, is everything free?
Almost, Dan. Through Sunday night, Snowbird dolls are free with the purchase of 25 sale-priced items.
I get a free Snowbird doll?
Dan, buy a GE washer and dryer.
I get a free Snowbird doll?
Or Dan, buy a Stratalands recliner.
I get a free Snowbird doll.
Dan, buy a 26-inch RCA stereo TV.
I get a free Snowbird doll.
Or Dan, buy any one of 22 sale-priced items. We'll deliver them free.
I get a free Snowbird doll. And if I can get it, you can get it through Sunday at Furniture World in Franklin.
Forecast for today, cloudy with a 40% chance for rain, a high of 47. Winds from the north 15 to 20 and gusty. Then tonight, rain likely changing to light snow after midnight, a 70% chance with a low of 31. Winds from the northeast. Then tomorrow, partly cloudy, a 40% chance for some light snow in the morning, high 38. Winds from the north 10 to 15 and the low tomorrow night 20. That's it for now. Join us at 9 for Channel 4 Magazine.
This has been a news update brought to you by Furniture World.
Hey, look at me, fancy free, 'cause I did all my holiday shopping at Super X. Yeah, save on it all. Cosmetics, Christmas lights, cameras, action. Hey, get my drift? The whole gift kit, you dig?
Save on Plusmark Jumbo Paper, 55 square feet, $1.99. And remember our Christmas Moose Match game. Prizes include an '89 Pontiac Sunbird.
Super X cares, and they show it, yeah.
With so many fashion choices today, it's no longer easy to walk into a store, see something you like, and say, I'll take it. I'm Sally Sweeney, and at Sally & Company will personally help you discover your style. We're constantly searching for the clothing that suits you best, from designers like Barbolio and Adrian Bettadini, and we'll pull it all together with our designer jewelry and accessories. We've even got a great selection of Christmas gifts. Come by and see why we're not just another clothing store. Sally & Company, Bandywood Fashion Square, Green Hills.
We're back at 8:30 on a Thursday morning, along with Jane Shallett.
Morning.
Jane Pauley. I'm Bryant Gumbel. In this half hour, we're going to talk with a California priest who, I guess I can say it this way, we can't have him on next week because he wouldn't be allowed to talk to us. That's because next week he's going to begin a year of public silence, so ordered by the Dominican Order under pressure from the Vatican. We'll find out why shortly.
Can you pre-record?
Well, we just want to make sure we get it on the record before he has to go to the
I'm going to ask him, and that's an electronic version. If he pre-records the messages...
Has he broken the vow?
Has he broken? Well, never mind. A new Neil Simon comedy is running on Broadway. That's always special in itself. This one is special because it also stars Ron Liebman. And we'll talk to him in just a few moments.
And George Wendt, who is Norm on Cheers, will be with us, and that's the cause for Cheers.
Let's move on to the news desk for a final time on this Thursday morning. Here's John Palmer.
Bryant, thank you. Good morning. A devastating earthquake in the Soviet Republic of Armenia has forced Mikhail Gorbachev to cut short his visit to the United States and return to the Soviet Union. Tens of thousands are feared dead in the quake, which was centered near the Turkish border. Soviet television showed pictures of devastation in one of Armenia's largest cities and reported that the situation is even worse closer to the quake's epicenter. Scientists say the quake is the most powerful to hit that region in more than 80 years. Late last night, it was a grim-faced Soviet Foreign Minister Edward Shevardnadze who informed reporters of Gorbachev's decision to end his visit to the United States and cancel scheduled trips to Cuba and to Great Britain. Speaking through an interpreter, Shevardnadze explained that the quake damage was far greater than initial reports had indicated.
Despite the fact that all necessary measures are being taken to overcome the extremely grave consequences of this disaster, Mikhail Gorbachev believes that when a people is suffering, he has to be there and he has to lead the efforts. He has himself to lead the efforts, these very important efforts himself.
Shevardnadze went on to say that President Gorbachev felt it would be immoral not to return home at a time of great national tragedy. Shevardnadze's midnight news conference was a sober ending to Gorbachev's triumphal day in New York. It began with an address to the United Nations Security Council in which the Soviet leader announced a unilateral reduction of 500,000 men and 10,000 tanks. He also called for steps to end the Afghan war under UN auspices and urged cooperation on issues ranging from arms control to the environment. Gorbachev capped his busy day with a gala reception at the United Nations last night. Long lines of dignitaries from around the world were at the UN to meet the Soviet president and his wife. In other news this morning, Secretary of State George Shultz is in Brussels meeting with NATO foreign ministers. He's reportedly urging Allied leaders to push Gorbachev for even bigger cuts in the number of Soviet troops in Europe. Late this morning, NATO proposed a 50% reduction in the number of tank units deployed by both NATO and the Soviet Union. In this country, hurricane-force winds have caused widespread damage in Southern California overnight. The Santa Ana winds tore the roofs off houses, toppled mobile homes, and left thousands of people without electrical power. The winds, which gusted to 80 miles an hour in some areas, were so strong at the Ontario, California airport that a commercial airliner was literally blown sideways. The winds also spread a fire in the Los Angeles paper factory, in a factory there. It spread to a nearby lumber yard and then to more than a dozen homes in a 5-block area, in that particular area in Southern California. And that's it from this desk. It's now 34 after the hour. Once again, Brian Cubble.
All right, John, thanks very much. Willard has a final check of the weather for us, and then Jane talks of the new Neil Simon comedy Rumors. That's after this.
Oh, no.
Spills clean up fast with the cordless Hoover Double Duty. Dry spills and wet spills too. The Hoover Double Duty. It eats drinks and says, Merry Christmas.
Spread on this, take off that. 36 calories, can't beat that. Give them all a little pat of butter.
Pure natural dairy butter. It has only 36 calories per pat, the same as margarine.
Give them all a little pat of butter.
There's only one place you'll find a furniture sale this big. All bedding and bedrooms, all dining rooms, all living rooms, all carpeting. It's all 10 to 50% off. Now, only at Sears.
Where can you find a 46-inch screen TV with all this and more? A picture that's bright and clear with a cabinet this beautiful, all at this price. Just $54 a month. Now, only at Sears.
What do you take for diarrhea? Oh, the old standby. If you're like most people, lots and lots of the old standby. Well, now there's something more advanced. Introducing Imodium AD, with a medicine now available without a prescription. So Imodium AD can often stop diarrhea with just one dose, instead of all the spoonfuls you may need of the leading remedy. One dose of Imodium AD. It can make your first attack of diarrhea your last.
8:35.
I'm upstairs eating cashew nuts. That's what I need is more cashew nuts.
You've been ODing on cashew?
Oh, and then those Moravian cookies from yesterday. I do love this time of the year, not just because of the food and just because of the fruitcake and just. You said fruitcake got a bad rap in the press?
Well, didn't you see that survey? The survey said it's the thing that people least want to get for Christmas. And in fact, getting nothing was second.
Or first, didn't you?
No, getting nothing got 18%. In the vote, and getting fruitcake got something like 35%, the worst thing to get at Christmas.
I cannot accept that, and I can't believe it.
I
love fruitcake
so much.
Deluxe fruitcake in Dallas. They want to send me a
We're
freebie.
convinced there's only one fruitcake in the world, and people just kind of pass it around.
And same fruitcake.
Yeah, you get it, and then you mail it to somebody else.
That's like George the cherry in the old-fashioned, or Sid the anchovy in the salad, you know. Hey, but another anchovy, bring Sid out. Well, this is from Lancaster, PA. Now, you talk about shoe fly pie and good things to eat. You can't eat this. This is decoration, but it is pretty. The Napoleonic Christmas display at the Heritage Center in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and that's this through the 11th. And I love, that is one part of the country I love very, very much. Special. When I was in the Navy, I used to go up there all the time on weekends, and I was at Bainbridge, which wasn't that far away.
There's no port up there.
Oh, well, there can be. There's a little sherry and some vermouth.
Get going.
And there's some port. Eva Gilliand of Everett, Washington. She was formerly from North Dakota. Beautiful lady, is 100 years old today, and she's in good shape. We wish her a very happy birthday. And from Port St. Lucie, Florida, Mary Tokash is 100 years old. Look at those eyes. Fantastic. Hallelujah. Boy, it is, it is getting this. This is the last full, next week, No, this is the last full week of fall. Next week, Friday, I think ushers in the 21st or whatever. The point is, did you see it? It went by, all right, forget. That was the look at the week ahead, the one you just saw. It'll be cooler in the east and much, much warmer in the west. Today, the big story is this. Cold Arctic air moving in from Canada will bring freezing temperatures, coldest of the season so far, to the upper Mississippi and the northern plain states. The other big story is a lot of snow here in the Texas-Oklahoma panhandle and some snow back down here in West Texas and in New Mexico. Look for some heavy snow, also some ice and rain. Western states are still in good shape, mild temperatures, a lot of fog in the valleys of California, right on up to beautiful Golden, Oregon. Here's what's happening in your world this morning.
Cloudy and cooler today with a chance for rain. Look for a high of 47.
Okay, that's it for now. Enjoy St. Louis tomorrow. Meet you in St. Louis tomorrow morning for a Christmas celebration right here on the show, Under the Arches. Look forward to a good Italian meal tonight. Call me, Joe Garagiola. Your mama will fix me dinner. 8:38 and Jane Pauley's back in business.
Thank you, Willard. Everybody on Broadway is talking about Rumors. Neil Simon's latest offering, Rumors. The tongues are wagging in particular about one of the stars of this comedy of suburban manners and innuendo, Ron Liebman. Rumor has it he gives one of the best performances of the Broadway season. And good morning, Ron. Is there any truth to those rumors?
Lies, all lies.
All lies.
Yes.
You play an accountant named Lenny. Now, there's the part of a lifetime. Tell me about this guy, Lenny.
He's an average guy. I think that's what Neil wrote. An evening of average people, an accountant, a lawyer, psychiatrist, guy running for the state senate, and their wives, and they show up at this 10th anniversary party, and chaos starts. They're average people in very strange circumstances, gunshots and madness and
All right, now let me try not to be repetitive here, but the plot that revolves around this party, 4 couples, 10th anniversary of Friends. The hosts are mysteriously incapacitated. Somebody thinks he hears gunshots, a doorbell rings, panic ensues as the guests fear it's the police. Let's roll it.
Okay.
Right now, more or less.
This is a major felony we're talking about. You want to spend 30 years in a maximum security prison wearing a tuxedo? We're all in this together, Glenn. All right, here's how we do it. You put out 2 fingers or 1 finger. If 3 guys are the same and 1 is different, that guy is Charlie. Are we ready? Who made you Don Corleone? You got a better idea? Yeah, let the women wrestle for it. Come on, let's get it over with, for Christ's sake. All right, here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 2 and 2, no good. Again, 1, 2, 3. All the same, no good. Again.
Okay, so there are no women on stage, but I happen to know that your Lenny has the good fortune to have a beautiful wife played by Jessica Walter. So
Jessica Walter.
You should be so lucky.
Rings a bell. Jessica Walter.
You are so lucky.
I am very lucky.
5.5 years you've been married to Jessica Walter.
Yes.
Gene Shalit was telling me that when Hume Cronin and Jessica Tandy would have a long-running play together, that sometimes they would get separate hotels just for a break. Don't you ever get tired of seeing, living, working with this woman?
They're richer than we are. They can afford that. we never tried that. That's a very good idea.
How many hours a day are you together?
Most of the day and most of the evening. We go down together, down to the theater together in the subway. Someone says, don't you have a car? Says, we love to take the subway. It's very relaxing, strangely enough. And we take the 8th Avenue bus home, which is nice because all the actors from the different shows get on the 8th Avenue bus and go home.
We'll try and get a taxi
It's very difficult.
after the show's let out. But you don't find that it... Actually, you said the tone in your voice implied a certain, maybe you would like to have Jessica.
This is the first
Tandy's
chance
money
I've had to be away from her in a long time, Jane. Let's put it that
You and
way.
I together?
Yes, this
Oh,
is
but I
it.
know she's watching TV, but probably not this channel. You must have had an intuition that this show, Rumors, was going to be a big hit because you did uproot yourself from the West Coast and move yourself and your stepdaughter to in school and all of that.
We put her in school
so
here
did you have
before
an
we were even
intuition?
here. Well, it was Neil Simon's name, so we said, well, we have a chance. We were in San Diego for 3 months before we came to New York, and we were praying that we would get here. And yes, we did make a big move, but I kept an apartment here for 20 years. Thank God, because they cost $11 million a room now, so it was nice to keep the old apartment.
So does that mean the family now is going to commit to New York? I understand that when you got married, you sort of neglected to settle the question of where you would live.
I have always wanted to move back to New York because I love New York, and this afforded me the opportunity to get the family here, and I'm really happy about that. Plus, to be on Broadway with your wife, I mean, that's a dream. That's an actor's dream for 2 actors married who came from the theater, who loved the theater. To be starring in a Neil Simon play together on Broadway, 1,200 people a night laughing, and we walk out into Schubert Alley, and we look at the marquee, we're like little kids, and we go, that's us.
Still?
Yeah.
After all these years?
Oh, yeah. It's very easy to get cynical in this business. Very easy. And we haven't. And that's what I love about my wife. She is not a cynical person.
When you were a little boy...
Growing up in New York.
Growing up in New York, did you go to the theater? You had a little ticket in your hand and you
My
go
father
see
was a
shows?
manufacturer and used to have tickets for his buyers from out of town, but buyers from out of town like to go to nightclubs, not the theater. So who got the tickets? I did. My passports to paradise. I've been going to the theater since I'm 3 and 4 years old.
Different from the movies. I mean, you didn't have the same passion for movies?
Never could have. I could have cared less about. Movies were Yvonne DiCarlo. I mean, it didn't have anything to do. I never wanted to be in movies. The fact that I've done movies is strange to me always, because my love was always the theater, always, always. And now I've done Broadway throughout my life. But to be back with my wife on the same stage is thrilling.
Wouldn't it be nice if you're there so long that you can get your daughter through high school without having to go back to California?
She only has 1 more year after this. I think it's quite possible because we've been sold out every night, 1,200 people, standing room. And that's something when you walk out on stage and there's 1,200 people and you see the people standing in the back. I do peek.
Look at me. I get to sit across from you for free. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good luck
Thank
to you. Break
Thanks.
legs or whatever they say. I've never been very good at that. We'll be back after a message.
Norelco's new coffee makers do more than make coffee. They bring out the best in your coffee. All new coffee makers with System 190, balancing time, pressure, and just the right temperature to bring out all the aroma and richness you look for in every cup. Norelco coffee makers bring out the best in your coffee.
You know how some cereals have a long list of ingredients? Well, not Quaker Oats. It has a list of 1 ingredient, 100% rolled oats. Quaker Oats. It's the right thing to do.
That'll be a charge.
We interrupt this purchase for a reminder.
Don't forget, Santa.
'Tis the season to be choosy.
La 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 la.
That's it.
So choose the card that actually pays you cash back for every charge. The Discover card.
That's a great idea.
You sure know how to pick 'em.
It pays to Discover, the card that pays you back.
When Mom gets a cough and cold, everyone suffers.
Mom, Dad's ironing.
Time to doctor that cough with Robitussin.
Look, Mom's feeling better.
Robitussin, recommended by more doctors, pharmacists, and Dr. Mom.
1 week from today, a Catholic priest will begin 1 year of public silence, a sentence imposed by the Dominican Order acting under pressure from the Vatican. Now, various priests have been punished for their so-called liberation theology, but Father Matthew Fox is being punished for what he calls a creation theology. His views are presented in his latest book. It's his 12th, and it's titled The Coming of the Cosmic Christ. And why does the Vatican have such a problem with you?
For the same reason it has a problem with the liberation theologians in the South, I think. That creation spirituality is about liberation for first world peoples. It's about bringing back the women's experience of mysticism and spirituality, which the church hasn't been preaching the last few centuries. We're discovering the ancient women now, mystics of the church, Hildegard of Bingen, Matilda Magdeburg. And the present Vatican system is very fundamentalist. They're turning more and more fundamentalist. And creation spirituality is the opposite of fundamentalism. We talk about bringing science and mysticism together, not having science fight religion.
Who do you've said the real issue here is not theology, but power, but control. And why?
That's right. I think that's at the heart of fundamentalism is fear. Fundamentalists want to control because they're afraid. And the creation tradition says, you know, let the Spirit work. The Spirit's working through a lot of grassroots movements today. It's working through ecological movements to save the earth, the planet, the rainforests, and the soil is being destroyed.
Who do you blame, or what do you blame for this fundamentalist climate of the Vatican? I mean, do you blame the Pope directly?
Well, I don't really try to blame it. You know, I don't like blame in itself.
Well, somebody's got to be responsible.
Well, it's true. The Vatican is patriarchal. It's sexist. And, like, the charges against me in the official documents say that I call God Mother in my book. Well, of course I do. All the creation mystics in the Middle Ages call God Mother. Why does the present Vatican have so much trouble with women in calling God Mother? They're too oriented toward their own agenda, which is male and human. And the fact is that big things are happening on this earth. You know, A species usually disappears 1 every 2,000 years. We're destroying 1 every 25 minutes today.
And you're saying that the church doesn't take that into consideration?
That's right. A theological issue. Is the species sacred or not? That's the cosmic crisis. See, how holy is water that we're destroying in the soil and all?
Let's talk about you personally. What technically happens come December 15th? I mean, nobody arrives and puts a piece of tape over your mouth, but what happens?
They're forbidding me to preach, to teach, or to lecture. And I am a preacher, a teacher, and a lecturer. So I'm going silent for a while. First thing I'll do is do a Native American vision quest, which is like a retreat in the wilderness. Then I want to visit Latin America and see the...
Will somebody be monitoring your behavior for the next year?
I think they'll be watching pretty closely.
What other kinds of things aren't you allowed to do? I mean, in the comfort of a rectory, are you allowed to have a philosophical discussion with a peer?
Oh, sure, I can have conversations.
And you can voice your views there?
Oh, sure, yeah. It's a matter of public presentation.
Have you any doubt that you'll be able to obey the order of silence for a year?
Yes, I do. I intend to obey it for 1 semester, 4 or 5 months.
Then
and
what?
after that, I'll have to wrestle with my conscience, because these issues that we're dealing with, including gender justice in the church, but the issues of the survival of the planet and the despair of our young people, we have answers to these things. Addiction. You know, I define alcoholism as liquid mysticism, liquid cosmology. The despair among the young all over the world is evident if we open our eyes. And mysticism is what's missing in the West and in the church, and it's not doing its job.
When you have such serious problems, such serious differences with your church, why accept their command? Why not just say goodbye?
Well, I want to give them an honorable way out. I think they've made a mistake here, and I think in the next 4 or 5 months, I hope that they'll learn something from the response.
And if they don't?
If they don't, I'm going to have to wrestle with my conscience. There's a difference between leaving the priesthood and leaving the church. I consider the church today a dysfunctional family. And you don't leave a dysfunctional family.
Just
you kind of want
disagree.
to,
Yeah.
but you try to intervene and bring a little health back.
Father Matthew Fox, we wish you the best. Can I say Merry Christmas?
Thank you, Brian, by all means. A quiet one.
50 past the hour. We're back in a moment after the station break.
I'd pour you beer. You drink it. I'd pour you another one. You drink that too.
Got a missing boy.
They'll never find him.
A psychic with a track record who says he can find him.
Please, just let him be all right.
I want to see Eric safe and sound.
I think you're lying.
Something is out there Friday.
Old Man Winter is already battering many parts of the United States, so the time to get to Burlington Coat Factory is now for the first choice of the largest selection of winter coats and jackets in the country. What every member of your family needs to keep warm, no matter how cold it gets. And because Burlington is famous for low prices, you can get your new winter coat at the lowest price imaginable. That should make you feel warm all over. Burlington Coat Factory, America's #1 place to save on the coat you want.
Support Channel 4's crusade for children, for the family.
Some TV shows are on for 13 weeks, if they're lucky. Cheers has been on NBC for 7 years, and one of its most popular characters is Norm, portrayed by George Wendt, who is a baseball fan and devotee of beer. When I caught up with George, I wondered if doing TV before a live audience fills him with pressure.
Well, there's the pressure to do it right. In TV, even though we have a live audience on Cheers, we can always stop the cameras and, crack up cute, and that way we wind up on Dick Clark's show. But the pressure to do it right is I don't know, you get to like pressure after a while. If you don't, you're really in the wrong business, because there's so much of it.
How much beer do you really drink during the production of an episode, and is it beer?
It's not beer, it's near beer, which they, I guess it's not available in draft or in kegs, so they pour cans of near beer into Coca-Cola dispensers, and out it comes, and by the time, they do that before the audience gets in, and it's flat and warm and just horrible by the time we have to drink it. So in the first couple of seasons, I used to just, be swilling it, be a real actor, sort of behaving as a bar patron on stage. Now, I have a feel for where the cameras are, and I only drink it when I'm on camera.
You grew up in Chicago.
That's right.
You're a White Sox fan?
That's right.
And you hated the Cubs, or you put up with the Cubs?
No, I like the Cubs. I don't understand Sox fans who can't abide the Cubs. The only time you'd ever really have a problem is if a World Series, the happiest of all circumstances.
Also, probably the most far-fetched of all circumstances.
Hey, get out of here. Hey, hold your tongue.
What's your opinion of the Cubs going with lights?
You know what upsets me more than lights at Wrigley Field is the prospect of tearing down Comiskey Park. It's really a beautiful old park.
Beautiful park.
Some people from the Save Our Sox committee called me up and said, would you come appear at a rally to save our Sox? And I said, I really agree with you, that the Sox should stay on the south side. But as a Chicago actor who moved to Los Angeles to cut himself a better deal in film and TV work, I think it's the height of hypocrisy to suggest that the White Sox couldn't pack up and leave too. They sort of acted confused and hung up.
Do you think there'll be some kind of a letdown in your life when Cheers finally runs its course?
Yeah. Huge letdown.
Be a crash. Psychological crash.
Yeah.
Do you think about that?
Yeah. Yeah. Don't get me started. I can get, sentimental right away. We had so many reasons to be sentimental anyway when Nick Colasanto died, when Shelley left, and now, the imminent end of the show. Not, all that imminent, but the end is certainly closer than the beginning.
It'll be hard to find another character like that.
It definitely will be hard.
Hey, Mr. Peterson, I really feel bad about you being cut off. Yeah. I remember the good old days when you used to come in here and say something funny. I'd pour you a beer. You'd drink it. I'd pour you another one. You'd drink that, too.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember, Woody. It's kind of a sobering thought that Norm might be the best role I've ever had. It's definitely the best role I've ever had.
So far?
Might be the best role I'll ever have.
No, but you mustn't think that of me.
No, I'm not going to think that, but you could think that and it would sober you up.
But I think a sobering thought for Norm would be an appropriate word.
Yeah, he could use a little sobering up.
When is the last time you had to pay for a beer? Everybody meets you wants to say, I bought Norm a beer.
I know. It's one of the great perks of employment history. I get free beer wherever I go.
Too bad you're not in a series where you're a Cadillac salesman.
Yeah.
When Cheers finally ends, maybe 10 years from now, would you want to go into another television series, or would you want to concentrate on movie feature films if you could?
Another TV show would be great. Features would be great. We just want to do good work, if possible. And, the medium isn't really important. Let's say stage, feature films, and television. The more you can spread it around, it really stays interesting for you.
George Wendt, thanks very much for being with us. I hope that Cheers runs for years and years and years on NBC.
Thanks.
George Wendt, and we'll be back in a moment after these messages.
It's new from Polaroid, the Impulse camera. Go where it takes you.
You got to go. Go with your impulse. You got to go. Go with your impulse.
Go with the new Polaroid Impulse camera.
You got to go. Go with your impulse.
This is instant coffee? I don't believe it.
That's what people have been saying in fine restaurants. But what would happen if you secretly switched Folgers Crystals for the fresh brewed coffee in your home? Let's listen.
It tastes absolutely like what we drink when it's fresh brewed.
When I found out, I was totally shocked. Mrs. Terry, I said, the coffee smells good. I'll be down in a second.
Folgers Crystals, so dark and rich. Why don't you try the switch?
She did it to me this time. She got me.
Well,
she got me.
A little exercise never hurts, and neither does eating right, especially when it's Sunsweet pitted prunes with yogurt. Rounder, plumper Sunsweet. So good tasting, and so good for you.
Siang, to travel forward to the past, to allow what is forbidden. Siang, the fragrance of the imagination.
I want to talk to you about tradition, a holiday tradition, the Christmas tree. Now, if that traditional Christmas tree is a real one, doesn't that make Christmas mean a lot more? I know it makes it smell a lot better. Ah, now there's nothing like a real tree. Doesn't your family deserve a real Christmas tree? Of course they do. You look for this banner at a participating real tree merchant, and this year have a real tree Merry Christmas. They'll love you for it.
Been a busy Thursday. We're going to come on by tomorrow and wrap up the week. More of the 12 Days of Christmas. Also, William Seidman of the SNL, Fed, chairman of the Fed, and one of those surprises too. Oh, Jim Fowler's going to be here. Do's and don'ts of pet giving. We're back. That does it for us on this day. Have a good day.
I say Adriana or Adam.
I say Christopher or Christina.
We need some help
naming our baby.
Just watch NBC Daytime for details on how you can help us name our baby.
Why is Donna Jeans my favorite clothing store? Come on and I'll show you. At Donna Jeans, I'm someone special. The wardrobe consultants make me feel at home and they help me select clothing that fits my style. Donna Jeans caters to the career woman carrying the latest styles and stylish classics, making my wardrobe versatile and well put together. And if you're like me and have difficulty choosing just the right accessories, Donna Jeans wardrobe consultants can assist you. That's why I consider Donna Jeans in Bellevue my store, and so should you.
Now, wow, pow! Pollinix puts the pow in the Whirlpool Power Spa.
Powerful, portable, affordable, under $100. The new Whirlpool Power Spa pours on the power to massage your tense, tight muscles.
Now, wow, the Whirlpool Power Spa.
Turn on a smile with Pollinix.
Now, Power Spa at Ace Hardware, Hills Department Store, and Walgreens.
I'm Ralph Emery, and I'm for the family.
Good morning, everyone. Today on Channel 4 Magazine, we'll be in the kitchen with some holiday recipes from a new cookbook by Mary Carter. You can bake some homemade gifts. Furs are not only for special occasions anymore, they're fashionable for any time and anyone. We'll show
Good morning, everyone. We're going to provide periodic updates for you on that devastating earthquake of historic proportions that has struck in the southern part of the Soviet Union in the Republic of Armenia. As you can see, it's about 2,000 miles southeast of Moscow.